On Fire TV is a streaming network for a generation on the move.
Welcome back. You ain't down with K in here, of course, on fire-tv.com. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. So much to get into today. It's going to be one of those. This is going to be one of those days. One of those days. Hope everybody had a great weekend. And of course, on the show, we deliver the biggest political and trending news stories of the day. And I got a whole gang of stuff here on the docket. Definitely on the docket to get to. The Democrats, what happened to that blue wave? Oh, man, people were talking so greasy. The pundits, the polls, the mainstream shows, the Republicans, they were talking so greasy. Hey, Tiara, they were talking so greasy. And then the election comes. They were talking about this red wave, meaning that Republicans were going to win really big. No, that's not what happened. Not what happened at all. Of course, anybody that claimed that they knew anything on the mainstream media was telling you that the Republicans were going to take over. Biden's approval rating was so low, blah, 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 blah. And what happened is that Republicans, oh, yeah, y'all got to take this out. Republicans got to take this out. Now they're trying to switch it up. The pundits, the people who make the polls, they all trying to switch it up now. Say, oh, we didn't say, oh, yes, you did. Yes, you did. And they were saying, well, we're just going by what happened in the past. Yeah. Things change. Seasons change. We're seeing a lot of things now. The pandemic was something we hadn't seen in the past. So you want to equate everything to stuff that you already seen. Well, now a new precedent has been set. Now, of course, Republicans trying to gain some guts. Now they want to turn on Trump. You got a bunch of them. Now all of a sudden they brave. Now all of a sudden they trying to throw Trump under the bus. Now it wasn't all of the other stuff that he did, but because he and his candidates did not fare so well. Now all of a sudden they're turning on what Dave Chappelle called the honest liar. Yeah, the honest liar. I think that was interesting. That's an interesting way to classify Trump, an honest liar. Definitely a liar. So Democrats going to have control of the Senate and still have the chance to control the House. It's a slim chance, but they have a chance. So crazy. What happened to all the Republican red wave? It's not even a trickle. It's not even a period spot. The red wave. Red wave, whatever. Whatever. Shout out to Governor-elect Wes Moore starting to fill his leadership team. Here in Baltimore, the police department acknowledging a crime-filled weekend. Today they acknowledged that over the weekend, two people left for dead, and multiple folks injured from Friday to Sunday. The city experienced 5 incidents that resulted in 2 homicides and 3 non-fatal shootings, according to Baltimore police. There were also 20 confirmed robberies. Police said that they made 55 arrests over the weekend. 55. 2 warrants were also issued. Officers said that there were no incidents related to the weekend's events of Veterans Day Parade. Notre Dame had a football game at M&T Bank Stadium. But yeah, crime is it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Not sure what we can do about it, but I don't know what's in the air. Like, what is going on with folks? What is going on with folks? Now, I'm going to give you politics and news from an independent perspective. If a Republican's wrong, like they were wrong about the election, I'm going to tell you about that. If Democrats wrong, which they're wrong sometimes too, I'm going to call that out as well. There were folks, I remember there were folks in the comment section, and I've seen it online, where they're trying to act like voting's not that important. Voting doesn't make a difference. They don't see the benefit or purpose of voting. Oh, voting is very important, very critical. Your vote does matter, contrary to what someone may tell you. Contrary to what someone may tell you, voting super important. So you got a runoff election coming in Georgia, December 6th. We're going to be down there at some point during this process. Very important there. Now, is it going to give someone control of the Senate? No, but every vote counts. Every seat is important. Of course, I'm here weekdays, 6 p.m. on fire-tv.com, on Facebook, of course, The Diamond K Show. Now, you can get the program on demand anywhere you get your podcasts. Just search The Diamond K Show. Of course, shout out to the folks over at the WRF Radio app. You can check us out over there as well. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. Of course, on YouTube.com/DJ Diamond K. Now, let's do this. Let's talk about let's talk before we get off like election related stuff. I wanted to talk about one of the most spineless people that we've ever seen. One of the most spineless, even when his life, the life of his family, his employees, his colleagues was in danger, he still did not have a spine, still did not have gumption, still does not have any of the things that a man, a head of household, a father, a leader of men and women should have. And that is Mike Pence. I'm talking about Mike Pence. So, of course, he is peddling a book. He has a book coming out tomorrow. And the book is called So Help Me God. So Help Me God, being released tomorrow. So now that he is out of office and trying to sell a book, oh, he feels tough now. Now he wants to talk because there's money involved. So the former vice president says that then President Donald Trump endangered him and his family and everyone at the Capitol building with his words and actions during the January 6th riot. No, really? Of course. Of course. Folks were saying, hang Mike Pence. Yes, you were in danger. The former president put you in danger, and you did nothing. You said nothing. You're just a spineless jellyfish trying to sell a book. He did an interview with ABC. Parts of it were released yesterday. More parts are going to come out tonight. He says that the president's words were reckless and his actions were reckless. The president's words that day at the rally endangered me and my family. Yeah, we don't want to buy this book. I mean, tell us something that we don't already know. Pence, of course, was overseeing the certification of the 2020 Electoral College results in Congress. It is a ceremonial thing. A large crowd of Trump supporters overran the Capitol security, assaulting police, vandalizing the building, prompting Pence and other lawmakers to run, duck, and hide, or if you want to say it nicely, go in lockdown. Shelter in place. Trump told rioters to leave the building only hours after the riot began, well after criticizing Pence. Of course, Pence did not want to go along with the plan. He's like, oh, Pence doesn't have the courage. Trump doesn't have courage either. But he wanted Pence to resist the election results. He wanted him to overturn the election, failing to block the certification of the Electoral College votes, which he does not have the power to do. Trump said that Pence did not have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and our Constitution. Yeah, if you want to hear more cowardly talk and more twisted, late, very, very late information that we already knew by Trump's lackey, or I guess former lackey's book. The most harsh words that Pence has said about Trump is the words were reckless. He endangered my family. I mean, the crowd was yelling, "Hang Mike Pence!" Like, you are not going on a limb by saying this at all. Of course, this is a dark day in history. We understand that. Now, understand this: the insurrection attempt, the storming of the Capitol, did not cause Republicans and conservatives to abandon Trump. They weren't talking greasy about him because of that. They're talking greasy about him because, once again, he has lost his association with them, and it's caused the red wave to, as I said, to turn to a spotting on a maxi pad. It's kind of funny when you think about it. It's kind of funny. Speaking of funny, let's do this. Take a quick break. Come back. I want to talk a little bit about Dave Chappelle and the backlash that he's getting for the SNL monologue, Saturday Night Live monologue. He's getting some backlash for that. I also want to talk about the Squeegee, the plan. Baltimore's plan for Squeegee kids. The mayor has rolled out an interesting proposal, collaborative. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but we're going to talk about it nonetheless. And we're going to do that real quick right after this. Welcome back. You man, Diamond K in here, of course, the Diamond K Show on fire-tv.com. On fire-tv.com. I am here with new episodes weekdays, 6 p.m. So Mayor Brandon Scott of Baltimore has a Squeegee collective. He's come up with this plan, and it's different. Released it last week, and it has recommendations from this Squeegee collaborative to address the practice of squeegeeing. Squeegeeing, is that a verb? Squeegeeing? The mayor said that the working action plan addresses squeegee work in Baltimore. This is so crazy. He said that the plan will not immediately stop squeegee work, but will do more than has ever been done and involves the public and private sectors. So when he tries to run for re-election, is he going to be saying, yes, I handled the squeegee problem, vote for me? We got to ask him. We have got to have Mayor Scott back on the show. Because I got to ask him questions about this. The way that he's handling squeegee situation. right? It's just I just don't know. I just don't know about this. I don't know about this. But Scott says that previous attempts at resolving the issue of Squeegee kids, she said that it failed because they lacked a real investment and dedicated problem solvers to break the cycle. And he says that his plans will do that. I do have a news flash, right? And let me say this. I like the mayor. Personally, I like the mayor. I don't think that you will ever stop Squeegee kids unless you outlaw something, right? Unless you ban it. Back in the 90s, we used to do this thing after the club called cruising. That's what the local government said that it was called cruising. We used to just drive around after the club, drive around downtown, different spots, and just it would create gridlock, bumper to bumper traffic. People would jump out of cars, jump in other cars. It was a whole lot of fun after clubs. Now, it would be all kind of stuff going on, and so we just driving around in a very small block radius, just looking, talking trash, playing music, things like that. And eventually, sometimes people would, after the club let out, that would be more interesting than the club sometimes. Now, eventually, they stopped this practice and they created this ordinance called no cruising. They would create zones. The areas that we used to do this in, they would say there's no cruising. They would start putting these signs up, no cruising, and folks started getting in trouble. People's was going to jail and giving citations. They started running tags. They made it very uncomfortable, and that eventually went away. Unless you create real consequences for Squeegee kids, it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. The people that participate in this collective's plan, and we're going to talk about it. The people that how's it going, Indy? People that participate in this Squeegee plan, right? You got them, but then you're going to have other folks that are going to, that are not going to participate. They're going to keep squeegeeing because it's just what it is. I don't think that this is the way to do it. They're going to criminalize it, then it will stop. If anything short of that, it's not going to stop. And look, I don't have a problem with it. I've never had a problem with Squeegee kids. I've never had a problem with interacting with them. It is what it is. I think you treat people with respect, you get respect. And I always treat folks that I meet on the street with respect, whether it is who is the Salvation Army, because they're asking for money, whether it's the Girl Scouts or the Boy Scouts selling cookies or some band trying to get to the semifinals and they're wanting money, or if it's some family that's on hard times that's asking for money, or whether it's some guy on Security Boulevard when you get off 695 that's asking for money, or whether it's the fire department with the boot and they're asking for money, or it's the police department and they're asking for money. I treat everybody with respect. If I got it, I give it to them if I feel like it, and if I don't, I say I ain't got it and I keep it moving, right? And so I don't have any problems. Sometimes I give, sometimes I don't. But usually I don't want them cleaning my window because they're not doing a good job. This is really about how can they get a little bit of money together when they feel like it. And that's really what it's about. But the mayor said that squeegeeing has been a viable source of income, and that under the plan, the city will provide resources. What is resources? Money. Wait, so we're gonna find some money to give these kids. Like, this is, I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this. Anyway, Faith Leach, who is Baltimore's deputy mayor of Equity, Health, and Human Services, said that the 18 recommendations are based on three key areas. Support services, accountability, and data measurement and governance. Leach said that squeegee workers will be required to stop squeegeeing to receive an income and participate in training and or education. So, and they're not going to give these folks cash. They're not going to give them cash, right? They're going to give them some kind of check, some kind of card. They're going to want to see ID. They're going to want all these different kind of things. And some of these kids are just not going to give them that information, which means they're going to still be getting their squeegee on. Still. Now, the mayor, of course, is getting criticism for this, but he says that it is not paying people just to pay them. This is not guaranteed income, which we do have in Baltimore. This is like an apprenticeship to learn and earn, he said. Learn and earn. I don't agree with Governor Larry Hogan on a number of things, but he has criticized that aspect as counterproductive. And I have to agree. I don't know how helpful it will be. I think it will actually create more squeegee kids. It just Governor Hogan says, and I agree, that it sounds completely absurd and ridiculous to me. This is Governor Hogan. You know we need crackdowns, not handouts, Hogan said. And this was last week after the recommendations of the squeegee plan were released. It's not panhandling, he says, and it's not standing on the corner asking for money. It's like stopping cars, breaking windshields, bending their windshield wipers, stealing money, and threatening people. All right, so let's look at that. Okay, so I guess Governor Hogan thinks that the panhandling part is okay, and that's why it's tricky. The maybe if you create parameters for panhandling, right? You create panhandlers for panhandlers. You create parameters for panhandling, right? I think it's panhandling turned up a notch. But this is if you are not participating in the panhandling and you have some negative interactions, then there are some consequences, right? Then it becomes a threatening situation. And that does happen sometimes. Obviously, we've seen evidence of that. Huge problem in the city. But is it that people don't feel safe, or is it that it's an annoyance? To me, sometimes it's an annoyance, but I don't feel unsafe, right? A bunch of kids doesn't make me feel unsafe, right? Maybe because I ride different than some people, right? Maybe because I have things that make me feel safe. But part of the plan calls for paying squeegee workers up to $250 a month for a year not to engage in the practice. How are they going to see? How are they going to regulate? How are they going to keep track of if the person is not? And I don't know why these so-called smart people couldn't come up with this. What would prevent them from taking the $250 and going to another squeegee location that that you didn't associate with them previously and get the $250, right? Barnabas says at least they're trying better to extort the city than its citizens. Let's see if it works. I don't think it will. It's not going to work. They're going to take the money and still squeegee, just relocate. First time Diamond was on Hogan's side, probably the last. No, I don't know if it's the first time that we've agreed on something. I don't agree with many things that Hogan says, but I agree with him on this. I guess the most recent example of the most high profile example of the I don't know, bad side of squeegeeing, the teenage squeegee worker that was charged in the fatal shooting entered a plea. The teenage squeegee worker, you remember, downtown Baltimore, had the defense attorney Warren Brown. Prosecutors have agreed to send the case to juvenile court and that the teen will plead guilty to manslaughter. So there was a whole lot of talk of whether or not they were going to charge him as an adult or charge him in juvenile court. And to me, it is definitely a juvenile case. I mean, he's a juvenile. But naturally, the family of the man killed, they don't like any type of, I guess, bargaining with the young man. The 48-year-old Timothy Reynolds, killed during the altercation in downtown Baltimore in July. And it's sad. It's sad. If you remember, they offered him a plea last month. Offered him a plea deal of 60 years in prison. And maybe I don't know, maybe a public defender might have told him to take it. Maybe. The Reynolds family led a press conference today pushing for justice and for police video to be released to the public. Now, attorney Thuru Vignaraja, said that the Reynolds family received disturbing news about State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby's handling of the prosecution. So, I don't know. It's one of those things. It's one of those things that the family is never going to be happy because they lost their loved one. And I definitely say that the actions of the adult, who is unfortunately deceased, the actions of the adult caused this situation. He's the adult. You got an adult and you got a child. You have an adult and you have a child. So the police charged the 15-year-old squeegee worker in connection with the fatal shooting of Timothy Reynolds. The police said that he was wielding a baseball bat before he was shot in downtown Baltimore on July 7th. During a news conference this afternoon, Attorney Brown said that the defense team believes the offer is the right call. Believes that the offer is the right call. The court requires, an offering of the adult system with that of the juvenile system. It is there's some differences. Essentially, if you've got a greater offering in the juvenile system that can address the issues this child has over the adult system, then that's where the child should be placed, the attorney said. So the defense attorneys quoted witnesses who said that Reynolds stated he was going to kill the squeegee workers as he approached them with a bat. This is not something that is often talked about. This part, I definitely believe that the young man felt that he was in fear of his life, for his life. The man said that he was going to kill these children. Defense attorney J. Wendell Gordon said, the man made contact with at least a child, struck him twice, and was shot in return. That part has not been fully described to people. Vignaraja, who previously ran for mayor and previously ran for state's attorney, a friend of the show, he's been on the show several times. he is representing the Reynolds family, and he held a news conference this morning with Reynolds' widow and his sister. He said that the family objects to this proposed approach, saying it's inconsistent with the evidence and the charges that the prosecutors filed, inconsistent with similar cases, and inconsistent with the wishes of the family. I don't know if the family is considered in legal matters, but he knows that. Vignarajah pointed to a city grand jury charging the defendant with first-degree murder. He said that video evidence shows a defendant pulling a gun from a bag, putting a mask on, and shooting Reynolds multiple times in the back. Defense attorneys claim that that is not true. So we have, we have a disagreement about facts. Isn't that a funny thing? Facts are rigid, right? Both of these attorneys cannot be telling the truth. Somebody's lying. One of them's lying. Vignarajah blamed the handling of the case on, of course, Marilyn Mosby, saying that she has abdicated her responsibility in the case. Not true. Not true. He said that the family is appreciative of the detectives and line prosecutors who put the case together. He personally has a beef with Marilyn Mosby, and he's taking the opportunities of this case just to bash a political adversary, and I wish he would not do that. Ultimately, 9 months in juvenile custody is what's going to happen, essentially. 9 months. I think that it is a good plea deal. Barnabas says it's a bad plea deal. I say it's a good plea deal. If I was a defense attorney, I definitely would push him to take this deal. I would push him to take this deal. He's 15 years old. He has no priors. Is a good young man who is aspiring to be a lawyer or an engineer. Lawyer or an engineer. And it is still possible. The judge must sign off on this. 60 years is the worst, yes, but they are proposing he get 9 months. Okay. Of course, the first deal that they offered, yes, that was terrible. This deal is a good deal. Now, the judge must sign off. Court hearing is scheduled for 10 a.m. on Thursday. Prosecutors have agreed to send the case to juvenile court, and the teen is going to plead guilty to manslaughter. I mean, he's a kid. Let's definitely, he's a kid. So just because folks don't like Squeegee kids, that does not change the fact that this, in fact, is a child. This, in fact, is a child. You listen to the Diamond K Show, of course, on fire-tv.com, on fire-tv.com, on all social media. I'm at the Diamond K Show. Let's do this, take a quick break, and come back. I want to talk about this Dave Chappelle backlash. He's getting a lot of backlash and the such. So let's do this, take a quick break, and we'll be back. You listen to the Diamond K Show on fire-tv.com.
Looking for food that feeds your soul? Hoodfellas Bistro and Catering is your local African-American owned restaurant offering American cuisine. Located across from the courthouse, we offer daily jury specials to reward civic duty. Enjoy our full-service restaurant and fully stocked bar. Dine in, pick up, delivery, and catering. Our themed happy hours feature live music, handcrafted drinks, and weekly specials. Book your private event at hoodfellowsbistrocatering.com.
Welcome back. Your man Diamond K in here, of course. The Diamond K Show on fire-tv.com, on fire-tv.com. Dave Chappelle was on Saturday Night Live, had a opening monologue as he normally does. What's going on, Big Bree? And so some folks, of course, it's predictable that Dave Chappelle is going to get backlash. I think it's predictable that Dave Chappelle is going to attract controversy. What's going on, Beauty T? But I guess some folks thought that he was going to be talking about gender or sexuality related issues that have been getting him in trouble lately. That's not what the backlash is about. Nope, that's not it. This time, the comedian managed to steer clear of, the LGBTQ related, jokes that have ruffled some feathers. And he made jokes about, I don't know, some recent controversies with relationship to Kanye West, Kyrie Irving. It was a 15-minute monologue where he joked, he was making fun of Kanye and Kyrie for their recent anti-Semitic marks. Now, everybody, doesn't find the same things funny. I get that. He began mocking their PR blunders, pointing out that Kanye should have apologized to buy himself some time, and joked that the rapper was so anti-Semitic that Irvin got in trouble by association. Comedian then proceeded to explain why he sees anti-Semitism, particularly the idea that Jewish people collectively run the world, as flawed ideology. He said that he does not agree with one of the main tropes that folks say. He used examples of anti-Black racism in various parts of America as evidence that having a large quantity of people in a certain ethnicity in any given area does not necessarily equate to power. He's saying that a whole bunch of folks that are the same ethnicity being in a spot doesn't mean that they run it. He said he's been to Hollywood, and this is just what I saw. It's a lot of Jews. Like a lot, he said. But that doesn't mean anything. There's a lot of Black people in Ferguson, Missouri, but that doesn't mean we run the place. Now, some folks, like Jewish leaders over at the ADL, definitely take offense to that statement. And that joke does not like it. And the monologue has begun to attract criticism. On Sunday, the day after, it started some Jewish leaders and commentators blasting Chappelle, says that he is making light of a serious topic. Now, comedians will often make fun of stuff that are, serious. Some felt that explaining a racist ideology, even in a comedic way, meant to debunk it, worked to normalize a toxic way of thinking. I do not agree with that. Jonathan Greenblatt, the CEO of the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, took to Twitter, a social network that has its own issues with racism and racist remarks just running amok. This is where Mr. Greenblatt chose to go to condemn Chappelle's remarks. His organization previously put out a formal statement condemning Kanye West and condemning Kyrie Irving's comments, and he uses his own platform to express regret about Dave Chappelle telling jokes about anti-Semitism. So now folks want to tell him what to tell a joke about. I don't know. He did not anyway condone any anti-Jewish remarks. He was telling these guys not to, and telling them that they should have handled it differently. And but it's a sensitive issue, and I understand that. And I'm sure that if Mr. Greenblatt or anybody from the ADL talk to Dave Chappelle, he would not give you any reason to believe that he's trying to dump on Jewish people. That is not what I took from that segment at all. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, at The Diamond K Show, of course, on fire-tv.com. Take a quick break, and we'll be back with more of the show after this.
Today's broadcast was brought to you in part by City View Bar and Grill. City View is a family-friendly, casual dining bar and restaurant, providing high-quality food and good old-fashioned friendly service. At City View Bar and Grill, you can live every hour like it's happy hour. The food is mouth-watering, the atmosphere is fun, energetic, and mature. Located at 6700 Security Boulevard in Gwynn Oak, Maryland, a.k.a. Woodlawn, it is the City View Bar and Grill. Stop in today or visit cityviewmd.com. That's cityviewmd.com. The 2022 Baltimore Crown Awards goes down Saturday, November the 19th at The Garage, 6 Lafayette Avenue in Baltimore. This year's celebration is an Emerald Party. There is a dress code. It's emerald green, and that is to celebrate the 16-year anniversary of the Baltimore scene movement. Please come dressed in the theme and the color for a visual unity that reflects the theme for the evening. It's hosted by comedian Desi Alexander. You can cast your votes right now. Visit thebaltimorescene.org. We'll see you Saturday, November the 19th, 2022, for the Baltimore Crown Awards.
Welcome back. You man, Diamond K in here, the Diamond K Show on fire-tv.com, on fire-tv.com. Sad news out of Virginia. 3 dead in the University of Virginia shooting. Suspect was taken into custody. So this shooting took place near a University of Virginia parking garage. Killed 3 people, wounded 2 others. Sent the police on a manhunt today in search of a student suspected in the attack. Classes were canceled today following the violence last night. And the Charlottesville campus was unusually quiet as authorities searched for the suspect, who the University of Virginia president Jim Ryan identified as Christopher Darnell Jones Jr. I'm sure his family's proud of him. In a letter to the university posted on social media, Ryan said that the shooting happened around 10:30 p.m. on Sunday. The university's emergency management issued an alert Sunday night notifying the campus community of an active attacker firearm. The message warned students to shelter in place following a report of shots fired on the northern outskirts of the campus. Access to the shooting scene was blocked by police vehicles this morning. Officials urged students to shelter in place. Helicopters could be heard overhead. It was a mess. Police posted a notice online saying that multiple agencies, including the state police, were searching for the suspect. They said he was armed and dangerous. He is in custody now. So, yeah, it is just tough times that we live in. Tough times. So Black Panther, the sequel, scores second biggest debut of the year. Second biggest debut of 2022. Box office roared back to life with the long-awaited release of Wakanda Forever. The Marvel sequel earned $180 million in ticket sales from more than 4,396 theaters in the U.S. and Canada. Wow. Makes it the second biggest opening of the year behind Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Overseas, it brought in an additional $150 million from 50 territories, bringing its worldwide total to 330 million. 330 million. Wakanda Forever was eagerly anticipated by both audiences and exhibitors who have weathered the very slow spell at the box office. Summer season, has ended as far as movies go, and there were fewer, big budget blockbusters in the pipeline. So folks are excited about this. Film got off to a very, very big start, bit stronger than even the first film, with an $84 million opening day, including $28 million from Thursday previews. Wow. Wakanda Forever. Looking forward to checking that out. All told, it costs a reported $250 million to make, not accounting for marketing and promotions. So anybody that I've known that has seen it thus far said that they liked it. I am looking forward to checking it out myself. I'd like to know what you thought about it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I haven't seen it yet, but did you like it or not like it? Or do you plan on seeing it? Or do you want to let it pass? I'm eager to hear about that. Of course, tomorrow we'll be back 6 p.m. with more of the show. A lot of things to get into, a lot of things to talk about. Of course, if you want to check out any episodes that you missed, you can do that very easy. Anywhere you get podcasts, just search The Diamond K Show, onfire-tv.com, onfire-tv.com. I'll see you guys tomorrow.